Hi, my name is Mike Tholfsen and I'm a product manager on the Microsoft Education team. Today we're going to be talking about Microsoft learning tools and the inclusive classroom. Now at a high level, Microsoft's mission is to empower every single person on the planet to achieve more. And our education mission is empowering every student on the planet to achieve more. And that mission in itself is inclusive. I like to say we're not trying to empower 84% of the students. We're not trying to empower 93.6%. We want to empower 100% of all students. And so our mission is inclusive and accessible in terms of how we think about it. At a high level, we want to make sure that students grow their potential and gain independence. We want to ensure that educators can reach every learner. And also at a system level, how can schools make sure they promote equity and inclusion and meet their strategic goals? Now, during the pandemic, especially with remote learning and hybrid learning, equity, inclusion, and accessibility and assistive technology are even more important than they've ever been. And today, some of these tools we have, they're free, they're built in, they're mainstream, non-stigmatizing, and free. The way that Microsoft thinks about all of our tools across the entire spectrum at our company is shown on this slide here. I'm not going to be covering all of these today, but you can get a sense of all these different categories. We have so many solutions to address the needs of learners. I'll be talking today a bit more on the learning side as well as some of the neurodiversity category, but in the lower right, you can see this link for an accessibility sway. This is a free web-based document that details every single thing we have on our platform, and all these things are already available and free. One of the most common things I get when I talk to schools is, oh my gosh, Mike, I had no idea all these free things existed and all of my students have access. Now, if your students are learning at home, make sure parents know about these as well. The way we'll frame it today is with the inclusive classroom. And we talk about Microsoft Learning Tools, which is really reading, writing, math, and communication, and talking about that framework. The other thing before we get into some of the demos I want to talk about, I have a quick tip video playlist on YouTube. I have all sorts of short and sweet little videos for the inclusive classroom and accessibility, reading, writing, math, and communication. These are short and sweet, so educators can use them, parents can use them, instructional technologists. So I encourage you to check out this YouTube channel and explore some of the accessibility tips that already are there. Okay, we're going to start now talking about Teams. Teams is what is our hub for education, class, staff, and PLC. And Teams wraps all of Office 365 in one nice package. And it has assignments and all sorts of other things. Especially during remote learning and the pandemic, Teams has video calling for meetings, which have been critical for keeping classrooms going where students can't be in person. And Teams has many inclusive and accessible features. At a high level, you can see things like the immersive reader, inline translation, we have live captions, and many of these things already exist. I'm going to be showing some of the latest and greatest features that are really helpful for students that might need some extra assistance. The first thing I'll mention is Together Mode. This is a view that you can turn on during meetings. Now, some people think this is gimmicky, but it turns out, if you see the screen here, instead of looking at a bunch of squares on a screen, like say in Zoom, this is actually proven with science. There was brain science done, and they analyzed people in meetings with a bunch of squares where if you know how Zoom or even in the Teams large gallery view, when you have squares, when people come and go, the ordering can switch around. So your brain is having to track where people are. They're swapping around in some cases, and it can be really exhausting. With Together Mode, the people always stay in exactly the same place. So your students stay in the same place, the teacher does, and so your eye actually can track in a much more natural way because that's how it is in real life. And according to the brain scans and science they've done, Together Mode is much less stressful on the brain. So think about your younger students. Think about students with ADHD, maybe students who have tracking issues with their eyes. Together Mode can be a huge benefit, and there is science behind that. The next one is the Spotlight feature. This is the ability to pin someone, the educator, or pin a certain student to the screen so everyone can focus on that person. I'll show what that looks like. So here I am in a meeting, and I'm going to click on a person, Chelsea, and click that ... menu, and we're going to choose Spotlight right there. Now Chelsea is pinned and focus. Everyone focuses on Chelsea, and you can see all the other videos below. Makes it really easy to put attention on yourself as the educator or someone else. You can see there's a little spotlight icon next to Chelsea's name. And if I want to turn that off, what I do is I go to the top and I click Stop Spotlighting like this, and it goes back to how it normally was there. Spotlight is a key part of Teams meetings, and that has rolled out already, and it's out there today. Now, another one, students with focus and attention issues, might be focus mode. This can help get rid of all these videos along the bottom to help give a more focused experience. So I'll show what that looks like. If I go to the ... menu, you're going to see focus. And if I turn on focus, you'll see there's a PowerPoint being shared. I choose this, and all those videos on the bottom disappear. And so it's just a nice way to give that extra focus and attention for people who might need that. The live captions and speaker attribution, this one is literally rolling out in the next week or so, so it's just about out. It's in beta testing now. We've already had live captions on, so if you're in a meeting, it will caption along the bottom if you turn on live captions in a Teams meeting. But speaker attribution will show here, puts the name of the person next to who's talking, and you can get a transcription. So I'm going to turn on live captions here. Now you can see on the bottom, my name as I'm talking is next to the captions. I'll turn on the transcriptions as well, so you can record and get a full transcription of all the people talking. Now you'll see along the bottom, Abby and someone named Gabby will start talking, and you'll see their names pop up. There's Abby, she's saying something, and I'm asking her a question. And so you can see that speaker attribution is happening. Now, if I want to stop this, I go to the ... and I choose stop recording. It will ask me, and I can get a whole recording and transcription. So if I go here, I can now check that transcription, and you'll see all of the transcripts of the people that were talking. Now, when the meeting is done, I'll switch to this meeting chat area, and what you're going to see is the transcript is automatically saved for students that are deaf and hard of hearing, maybe students that don't speak the native language. This is a fantastic feature to have a transcript for any meeting, and you'll have that recording to go along with it. So live captions and speaker attribution is rolling out right now, and this is built into Teams meetings. Another very, very popular request has been breakout rooms. Now, I put breakout rooms for the learning tools because all of the features that are built into Teams meetings, so whether it's live captions or focus mode or together mode, all of those are built into breakout rooms as well. So breakout rooms allow an educator to create little breakout rooms. Hopefully at this point people know what these are during the pandemic. They're private rooms. So a teacher can create, say, 5 rooms and have 6 students inside of each of those rooms. Those 6 students have access to all the accessible meeting features. So if I'm a student that needs extra focus, or I'm a student that needs live captions, even in the breakout rooms, all of these same accessible features work. So that's a great one. Coming soon, this one is great for students deaf and hard of hearing, or students that might need that extra attention. This is kind of like weather person view, weathercaster. So we will be able to overlay the person right in front of the content. We call this dynamic views. Also, you'll be able to pin a person in their video, like you can see in the upper right here. Imagine if I was an American Sign Language and I wanted to pin the person signing so everyone could see it. I could pin that video in the upper right. I could also pin the video of that person down below over the content. So I could even have the sign language happening right on top of that content. And so dynamic views will be rolling out probably in February, maybe early March, but it is coming very soon. Another one that is coming soon that'll help with not only organization, but the transcripts. Think about ADHD and trying to track all the junk that happens inside of a meeting. There's going to be a nice meeting recap, and you can see a screenshot of it here. So the transcript will be there, the meeting recording, the content of the meeting. It will all be in one nice package. That recording transcript will also be a tab up here. So you're going to see a big improvement to how we organize all the content of meetings afterwards. So any class meetings that you're having will have all this recording, transcripts, whiteboards, everything that was there will be all nice and organized. Now we're going to move to inclusive reading. Hopefully, people, if you're in this talk and you're looking what's new with EDU for learning tools, the immersive reader is something that you know about. I won't be doing a full demo today, but if you'd like to get an immersive reader demo, I'm happy to send you information afterwards. But I'm going to assume you know what the immersive reader is or have heard of it. This is a great quote. I love this quote. It's being used all around the world, and especially during the pandemic, it's gotten extra attention because students at home need that extra content help when they're reading. One of the big announcements we've done is the immersive reader is now available for other apps. It used to be the immersive reader was only available in places like Word and Teams and OneNote and Flipgrid and Forms, all Microsoft products. Now we've made it so any company in the world can integrate the immersive reader into their app or their software. Well, let's see some examples. These are current apps that have already integrated the immersive reader. Some of your favorites: Buncee, Wakelet, ThingLink, Nearpod, Pear Deck, Code.org, Vocabulary, It's Learning. It's a huge list, and we're always adding more. We would encourage you to reach out to your school if there's a publisher or a favorite app you have, and encourage them to integrate the immersive reader. It's actually quite easy to do, and it only takes a day or two. So if you want to have the immersive reader in your software and your content that your school uses, reach out to that provider and encourage them. The link that you can send them to is right here, aka.ms immersive reader. This is an example. Code.org recently integrated the immersive reader. You can see they click the immersive reader button here, and that Code.org content is opened up. You can read aloud, you can do all those things that immersive reader lets you do. That is now built right into Code.org. We've also added the immersive reader to Outlook Desktop. You can see here there's a picture of Outlook, and the immersive reader is turned on. So you can have this for email that you are reading or your students are reading. You can see here line focus, there's read aloud, there's all sorts of things, and that is built right into the Outlook Desktop. Another one that's really nice is the immersive reader in embedded forms. So here's an example. I have OneNote Math here, and I've generated a practice quiz which embeds a form onto the OneNote page. You can now turn on the immersive reader. This is a Microsoft form that's been embedded. You can enable the immersive reader so it will read math, it will read anything in a form, but it's kind of like Inception. You've embedded a form, and on the form that's embedded, you've turned on the immersive reader. Really, really powerful and really inclusive for doing math if you're doing math with OneNote and Forms. Couple other coming soons. We've added the immersive reader to PowerPoint Web. So here is content in PowerPoint. You saw that I right-clicked, and I was able to select text and launch the immersive reader. We're turning that on for any text in slides. You'll be able to select it and right-click. We also are going to be able to have it for the notes area in PowerPoint. So any notes that you have in PowerPoint, you can select that text and right-click and choose immersive reader. Similarly, in OneDrive, you'll be able to select any document or any text file, go to the Open menu, and then choose Open in Immersive Reader. I click that there, and it will launch Immersive Reader right in OneDrive directly off of that off of that Word document. So that one's going to be coming in the next month or two. Next up is inclusive math. Now, there's a lot of challenges with math, whether it's dyslexia, ADHD, dyscalculia, reading word problems. And we have a lot of math capabilities that are already out there. I'm not going to do the full inclusive math demo today, but I'm going to talk about and show some of the newer things. OneNote has some incredible math capabilities, as well as that forms integration that I mentioned earlier. But there's also a free app called the Math Solver app. If you have never seen or heard of Math Solver, your assignment for today is go out and grab the free iOS or Android app on your phone. It's actually also on the web at math.microsoft.com, and you can go get the downloads there. So this app will allow you to snap a photo of any math problem, and it will have that solver capability and show you the steps. But what we've added is the immersive reader to that entire process. So, oh my gosh, this is incredibly inclusive. I'll show this here on the phone. I'll walk through it. So I'm going to open the app, math solver, take a photo of handwritten math, we'll say solve. I'm going to view the steps. So it actually has all the steps here, but I'll tap immersive reader in the upper right. There's the immersive reader. There's a picture dictionary. I can read out loud on that story problem and the steps. I can translate. I can change the background color. I can do all these different things that the immersive reader already handles. So I can even translate now into Spanish story problems, and now everything on that photo that I took and solved is in Spanish. This has rolled out very recently. It is incredible, especially for students working at home that might need assistance with math. Whether it's an iPhone, iPad, Android device, whatever you have, the math solver works today. So that's a great one to explore. Also coming soon, actually that date is wrong. That date should say late spring, not late fall. But in the late spring, we're going to be having the immersive reader and the math assistant and all the different aspects of math for OneNote coming to iPad. So you'll be able to solve math equations. You'll be able to use the immersive reader. You'll be able to use the graphing. So we know that a lot of younger students especially use iPads. So all the great math work is coming to OneNote for iPad in late spring. Okay, that wraps up all of the what's new. I'm going to cover some tips and resources again to make sure you have everything you need. We have short and sweet interactive guides, so inclusive reading, writing, math, and communication. Okay, that wraps everything up. I hope you learned something new. I encourage you to download the deck here. The link is on the screen. Also, reach out in email, or if you're on Twitter, feel free to send feedback, ask me questions. We are happy to take your feedback, and I hope you have a great rest of your event.